welcome back to War in the Pacific Admirals Edition. We're here trying to, okay, we took Rangoon without a fight. That's going to be good because I think that'll give us better, more um, supplies and fuel if we can capture any. Oh man, I'm so grateful I pulled out of there. So here's what happened. This is not going to be pleasant for us, but this is what happened. I knew he was, or figured he would come at me with surface vessels or aircraft. So what I did was I peeled off everything except for a couple of burning ships and got out of there. Now, this may be a bombardment group. If it is, he's going to bombard our ground troops, but that shouldn't be a problem because bombardment of ground troops when they're not holding a base is not. So we're going to lose these two ships. That's unfortunate. But I did get away 20 some odd transports. So yeah, both of these are sunk. We lost a bunch of stuff on those two ships. Man, that's terrible. But I saved a lot more than that, so that's good. Man, we're taking they're shooting at us. Where's our fire? We got nothing off. All right, the problem is we didn't make very much headway, so look, we only got 3 hexes out of there. Now, these are battleships, so they may do some damage, but see, not very much. It's not as strong as if I was holding the base, they would probably do more. Okay, so we're still fighting these guys here. I think he... Are we sweep? I don't think these guys sweep, so he might be sweeping us. Let's shoot down some Tojos, boys. Morning air attack on Pegu by him. No, by us. Okay. Okay. Oh. Man, I'm totally discombobulated. I guess our P-40Ks and Hurricanes fought. Um, I don't remember seeing the ends in that battle. But we're shooting down some Tojos, so that's okay. I doubt we captured any supply there at Rangoon because the chances are very high that he probably pulled all the supply out. As he pulled his troops out, the supply probably dropped to 0 or close to it. Just not getting into those ground troops. In fact, we're losing aircraft to flak. I'm probably going to go back up a bit higher. The problem is we don't have really any good higher range skill. This is where we're just bombing the base. One to just really put out of commission, but to keep trying to knock out his supply. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention. So I have a bunch of aircraft set to, oh nice. I have a bunch of, sorry, all of my heavies are set to bomb ships. So if he wants to, I see that he withdrew all of his ships. He knew a carrier was coming, and he probably disbanded to port. That's fine. We'll pull back out. I'm not sweating over some he just had some cargo ships there in the Dutch East Indies. Ooh, nice counter battery fire there. And here too. Alright, so this one was one we couldn't take without a fight. Sometimes we just have troops there and they fall. This one we had to take. We're bombarding him in reply. Bombarding him here, although we are the ones to take the damage. He is pulling out of Pegu also. I think he's conceding Burma? I don't know. But we are pursuing. He may not want to move so fast because basically, let me think, when he gets down to where it's like, I don't know, maybe I need to give it another day or so and then do an attack, and maybe he has like a few units left and we can smash what's sitting there. I don't know. I'll have to keep an eye on what the developments there. Okay, so I wanted to show you the air losses, and maybe we can look at some other things. But looks like we had the better of him, and we lost nothing in that sweep over Pegu, and he lost 12. But we did lose some to flak. Probably has a huge amount there at Pegu, but let's see what we lost here. Um, so first of all, he lost a lot of Tojos. We kind of knew that, and then you can see he lost a few other things. And we lost, of course, C-47s. Let's see. Okay, we knew about these. I think these were shot down. Well, the G for sure over New Guinea. This probably over Pegu, and I'm not sure where this was. Pardon me. But yeah, that's wanted to point that out. We lost 5 pilots. That's terrible. And then we did lose, as we knew, 3 ships. This one right here, we scuttled because it was worth 28, so we saved 3 points by scuttling it. It was for sure going to go down, so we had to. These two were left as sacrificial lambs here at Port Blair. They were burning up and wouldn't have gotten far anyway. So I decided to see if we could unload them, and then his battleships, as you know, came in and finished them off. We did lose a chunk of ground troops to that bombardment, but well, to the sea action. But I don't think it's the numbers it showed. There is no way we had that many on on those ships. Just I think it would have been impossible to fit that many. But needless to say, even if we lost as many as it was showing, there was nothing I could do about it. It's unfortunate, and I hate to lose any of that stuff. I guess that said, you can see here we captured Rangoon. We've got a little bit of supplies, some fuel they left for us, and we still have a pretty decent refinery to create more fuel. The road is open to Magway to get some more oil, so there's that as well. And so I think we're in good shape, and the refinery should produce some supplies. Pardon me. So we should be able to manufacture all the supplies we need. Well, not all the supplies we need. But something I'm considering, I know it costs a lot of supplies to rebuild this stuff, but I am toying with the idea of repairing these facilities and seeing if we can actually have decent output of supplies manufactured for ourselves. Because we can certainly get a lot of supplies into this base to do that. And to that end, I have cargo ships here, particularly this one, loading up a lot of supplies to get in there. In any case, I haven't made a decision yet. I'll probably, for now anyway, just see what we can do about getting supplies more manually. We don't, let's see, I should be able to grab an AM. I might grab one of these and to take with us, and we'll just do minimal refuel. That way maybe this Baluchistan will get a little bit of fuel before we head back. um, I don't know what he's gonna do to counter this, and um, but anyway, that's beside the point. Um, you can see, but it's hard to see that he's moving troops out of Pegu as well. But we're also chasing him down with extra troops there at Rangoon. We, I'm railing in a few things down to Rangoon, especially air cover. I'm bringing cruisers, excess cruisers to Rangoon because I'm going to cover this from bombardment. And then we'll have also, now we have air supremacy here. So I'll have fighters covering this so he can't bomb us. And then he can't bombard. He can't bomb our ships. He can't bombard because we'll have cruisers parked here, and he can't get battleships into Rangoon. So I think that's going to be our way of holding these without taking a lot of significant damage. I am surprised he bombarded us here, but you can see we're not in great shape. I'm just kind of going to sit here forever, so that's not ideal. But what I'm thinking of doing is our transports, which still have a number of troops on them, are gonna for now go to Akyab and park, and then if the window opens, we can come back out and try to unload these again. For example, if I see him building up naval forces to do something at Pegu or Rangoon, then we can come back. I mean, then we can slink over here while he's trying to mess with us here. Then we can unload even more troops and be ready to, fight for this. So we'll see how it goes. Any case, it looks like if he brings some reinforcements here, he can probably knock us out of this hex um, and secure that back. So we'll see how it goes. I may have overextended myself here. I was just hoping he would be distracted with these two bases to let us have this, but it was not meant to be. All right, um, be back with the 10th. Okay, it's the 10th of August, and let's see, took this base by proxy right there by Ambon. Well, I'm going to narrate a little bit while we're watching this. Okay, so here's a Dutch sub patrolling. I've got subs here for the purpose of watching over Port Blair. We don't get anything off, but we also don't get hits. That's good too. Okay, this is what I actually expected, is that he was going to bombard here, which is why I have subs here. The thing is, I'm gonna get through this because these take a long time, but we'll see how well he does. All right, so we have 25 guns firing back at him. He has, you can see all the ships. Plus, he's got a lot of guns on each ship, and he doesn't now. Now he may have disrupted and fatigued us, but he does no visible damage to us. This is what I was talking about earlier. If we don't control the base, he's not going to do much to us. He would be better off bombarding Rangoon, but that's why I'm bringing surface vessels here to block that. And then we'll have air units to cover them from air attacks. So I think Rangoon is going to be okay. And then once we have their surface fleet here, we can sortie out and kind of harass Port Blair. We can even harass Mole Mine. But I'm going to continue here. My opponent sent me, when he sent me this turn by email, he said he was intrigued because he would have given me Rangoon for free without a fight. Of course, I didn't know that, but his argument was because if I hit him hard at Pegu, his troops would retreat to Rangoon, which would basically isolate them. Now, here's the thing. I did not expect to necessarily beat him at Pegu or Rangoon, but he may have felt threatened and decided to bug out. Again, I didn't know what, because a lot of what he does is to, signal something and do something else, feints. So I didn't know if retreating from Rangoon was just a feint. And I really wanted to have a successful assault, damage his troops. I thought our bombers were going to do a better job. I thought he was. I thought we were stronger because of our tank differential. Maybe we would knock him out, but that wasn't meant to be. And also I thought his forts were zero, maybe one at the most. But I was wrong. All of my math was wrong, and that's why. And we lost as a result. Lost a lot of good troops. I'm not real thrilled about any of it, or nor am I going to even defend it or excuse it. But those are I'm sharing the reasons why I took the risk to assault there. All that said, hopefully I learned something that I can take with me as I continue this campaign and perhaps into the next one. And certainly I know the Japanese are very, tough the tough defenders. I've known that since my New Caledonia campaign. I just was hoping there in the clear terrain of Pegu we would have better results. So it's as simple as that. Um, all right, Chiang Mai is our target here. We're hitting some supplies. That's good. I have some things to talk about, but we can get to it when we're going around the map. This time I'll take a little bit more time. It hasn't been too crazy. I should be able to discuss a few things. This should pretty much put the base out of commission for a bit more. Okay, here the B-25Gs were flying a little bit higher. I did 5,000 feet instead of 100, and you can see here, and they still went in and strafed, so that's cool, and bombed. We actually have just as good results at 5,000 feet, and we only got one damaged instead of destroyed by flag. That last sortie with the the Blenheim fours, that was funny. In my head, it felt funny. Like, stragglers come in, do a couple of hits, and turn around and leave. Ooh, our cap is over here with our carriers just shooting down these search aircraft. Whoops, sorry about that. Just flew through that. Okay, so he does have some aircraft that get into our cap. Let's see if we can destroy these aircraft. Hopefully we can knock out some zeros and some betties, not just the zeros. The last time we had these fights where we had to worry about betties, even though we had a sizable cap, and even though my cap was still here in large numbers, they still got through, like 9 of them. So that's when we took a torpedo, and that was not pretty. He has the A6M3A zeros. Now, I'm not a Japanese player, so I'm not sure if that's a good fighter to have at this stage. But those of you who have noted his lack of creativity and research and production in modern air units, maybe you can judge whether this is a good purchase or a good production model to have out here in the second half of 43. We do have a lot of F6, F3s. That they should be able to do a fine job. So I'm enjoying watching Zeros get shot down, but this is going to take a while still, just by the mere fact that there's still over 30 aircraft here, not to mention my almost 200 fighters. Wow, it literally is almost 200 fighters. I don't know how these Bettys are going to get through this, but we keep getting more, like almost 200 just the F6Fs. That's crazy. All right, this can help make up for the fact that we didn't sink any ships up here. That was very lackluster, but if we can shoot down a lot of aircraft and get some points there, that's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna knock this out. I hope that I don't miss anything cool. I mean, it's just fighter on fighter for now, but I'm nervous these Bettys will still get through. But here we go. Nope. I was hoping for that result, but I have bad vibes from earlier when some got through and planted some torpedoes into my carrier. And now you see why I am nervous about launching my carriers too far away from land-based air support, because if he has carrier planes from 6+ carriers and Betties and Nels, things like that, ground-based zeros, all of that, he could just still overwhelm me. Now, someone might say, "Well, it's okay. You know, you lose a couple of carriers, no big deal. You're out producing." But I'm not willing to stick my neck out if I don't have to, and I feel like I don't have to, frankly. But we'll continue here, and I'm building up in the Dutch East Indies as I continue to liberate some of it. And we should be able to. Oh man, my cavalry did not get in here like I was hoping. So he will knock us out of this position, causing us to retreat. So I will have to pause my cavalry unit and hold up. And yeah, lost another battle there. Um, okay, we're bombarding here. What I'm gonna do is probably uh, well, oh, okay, I'll talk about that when we go around the map. Yeah. Okay, so shoot, I should have done an assault here. Well, I'm gonna call an assault next turn. Man, that would have been great. All right, I'm gonna call an attack, and we should be able to. Whoever's left is gonna be wiped out. In fact, I'll probably put my tanks on shock attack. So he may be hustling out there with a move mode though. But if I bomb, there you go. If I bomb his ground troops, um, then they'll be slowed and then we can assault. So I'll probably do that. Just to ensure, I really want to see if we can get some ground units destroyed, even if it's just some elements and that's it, and he retreats. Okay, let's look at our ops report here for what the turn we just played through. I'm gonna kind of skip this through. We got a lot of kills for our fighters. We we haven't had a lot of carrier action, so these guys are not aces. Got a lot of aircraft flying supplies. Okay, Davao is our next one of our next targets coming up. So thank you for building that up for me. Uh, all right. So this can't remember. I thought okay. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Anyway. See the I-153. See these subs? They just come back from the dead time and time and time and time again. Okay, but let's look at our air losses. We lost 4 aircraft. He lost 50. We'll take that ratio. As we know, it was a lot of Bettys and a lot of zeros. Now these numbers are way off, but you get the point here. You lost some other aircraft as well. I don't even know if he had that many Bettys, so we'll just say maybe the zero number is correct, and this is just less by about 6, something like that. It doesn't matter. Let's look at ours. Of course, we lost some air transports and Canadian aircraft. That's interesting. Um, no pilots, so that's decent as well. And then last turn, no ships should have been sunk. Didn't even have any action there. At least nothing hitting anything. And here's our losses. We already know how terrible that Port Blair incident was, and I'm not thrilled about that. I don't really want to revisit it, but it is what it is, and if I mess something up, I mess something up. I need to own it, right? Okay, what we're here doing is I wanted to show. I'm trying to gather. We got a bunch of ships coming back to Tarawa. Trying to gather all. I may have to pull some of these guys. I may just do that. Basically, the point is trying to get everybody consolidated make some amphibious task forces. We can have some, yeah, we can even have some landing craft task forces, some transport task forces to move people, because you still got to move people. Um, but I want to separate them out. I'm tired of these task forces that are inefficient and have the wrong type of transports and things so that they take forever to unload. And we should have plenty of APAs and AKAs. Maybe not for all the operations I like to do at once, but we should have enough to clear out these. It'll take us a while because we're gonna have to take one and then prep an invasion, take another one. It'll take a a month or two just to clear up these, but that's fine. We've got a lot of assets in the Central Pacific. We can dedicate all these assets to just this area. We've got plenty of South and Southwest Pacific assets to continue the progress here. So Central Pacific can do their own thing and mop this up. That's no problem. Um, and as we go to speaking of Southwest, and I'm running all over the place, probably making everybody dizzy, but trying to finish this off with bombers because that's my only option right now. And that's not true. I could chase them around. Um, but I'm trying to take Babo with ground troops, and then we'll look at Sorong. We have our eyes on Sorong and Kindari. These guys, no problem, shot down everything that came at them. They're heading back to Darwin. We'll look at what our options are when we get back there. In the meantime, um, I'm doing the same thing here. You can see all these ships here. We got APAs. Actually, I don't think I have any AKAs here. We have APs. Let's see. Yeah, we do have some more APAs here. I'm gonna be doing this off, when I'm done recording here. Just almost not across the board, but almost just disbanding whole transport task forces to figure out what we got, how we can organize better. And I'll do the same thing here. And check this out. Townsville has a lot of stuff. See that? Well, two AKAs, but look at those APs and AKs. There's almost 100 ships right there. And then we got APAs there as well. We do have some more transports that have arrived that I can try to reorganize as well. Um, but again, we'll have APs and AKs set up. Well, the AKs, of course, for supplies to make sure we're getting supplies to the front. But the APs and AKs set up to move troops that are back here into the front lines. But and then the APAs and AKAs, I need to consolidate and use them to do the all important um, amphibious invasions. And also we've got landing craft as well at various places. I may need to spread those out a bit more too because I have a lot I think in the Darwin area. Well, a few, and I don't have any in this area, I don't think, but not a big deal. But we have a couple of LSDs, so I may grab. some of these landing craft ships because we got a bunch here. Not here. Here we got a bunch. So I may split that up. Maybe send 7 LCIs and some LSTs west. I do have actually some LSTs here. So I just need to, grab a few more ships and send them to key places to um, again, I'm just bringing them all together, see what I have, how I want to set up task forces, and then start getting resources and assets where they need to go. Okay, what I was going to talk about here is this. See this cruiser group should get here this turn. This one should get here next turn, and I will probably fly cap over this just to make sure we're okay. I'm just going to set that up now. I always forget. It's 449th, not X. We're going to stand down. We're going to escort. I like to do this where we're not getting so overly fatigued. You know what? He's going to get there in one turn, though, so it doesn't matter. I mean, we only have to cap it one day. All right, and then I like to do about 15K. This is going to over fatigue this squadron, but at 100%. But I just want to ensure that it's safely arrives at Rangoon. And then we have these aircraft based directly here over this base. And I look at the aviation support I have here, 106. Actually, some more guys just arrived. Um, so I need to untrain. I don't know if it's untrain, detrain, but we're gonna get more. We have a lot of aviation support. I need to get an air HQ here. But we could put a lot of aircraft here. Just get some fighters flying over this base. We're building up the base. I don't need forts, I don't think. I wanted the forts though because I think the forts help against bombardment, maybe. I'm not 100% on that. But let's say we have level 2 forts versus level 4. I think when he comes in to bombard or bomb, the higher the fort level, the harder it is to hit my ground units or air units, even maybe. But I'm not 100% sure. I do know once upon a time we had level 6 forts here at this base when we held it before, and that's not the case anymore. Obviously, we just retook it. Now, I did not turn any repairs on. These are all off. They stayed off. I'm still mulling over what I want to do with that. But I may be comfortable just sitting here for a minute, thinking about it some more. If I can if I can transport more supplies here to Rangoon, then I'll feel a lot better about it. So check. So here's the thing. I don't know where he's setting up his task forces that are bombarding Port Blair, but I have now air search over that goes all the way down in here. I should be able to spot if he's using these bases. He could be rotating somewhere further down, and maybe he'll come in with battleships one day and cruisers another day, and so on. But and then you can see here my subs. I'm actually trying to cover also approaches to Rangoon and to Voi as well as Port Blair, but I don't know. I'm kind of spread out a little bit. But one thing is that Rangoon to Port Blair is 11 hexes, so I can't really shuttle daily naval bombardment of Port Blair. So it would be like every 3 days or something weird. But anyway, so you go out and then you hit. Maybe you go out a little bit because they like to go a little ways first, then they charge in and bombard. So you go here, day one, day two, bombard, and come back. Day three, come back here and get replenished, and then the cycle would continue. So it would be so rare. But I could still do that and supplement it with heavy bombers, in which case, and I was processing this in my mind, and I like the naval attack option, and I'm still okay with doing that because at least we can kind of harass him and make him think twice about what he's doing and what we might be capable of doing. But then do like ground attack on Port Blair. The problem is these bombers, they um, they get damaged and require maintenance very frequently. So what that means is they would be able to. Should only probably do this once every couple days or so. That way they're maybe fully repaired, stay in fully repaired status. I'd have to remember to keep that in mind. Um, this guy is set up to naval attack. I'm going to keep him that way. Rest here. I'm not going to I'm not going to play around with, um, what am I trying to say? Like any ground attack or anything. The aircraft does not carry a full. I don't think it's designed or has the payload that's really going to do a lot for ground bombing. Now I could do a port raid on, let's say, Victoria Point. That way, if he has some ships there, or probably if I were him, where would I go? Where's a good port? Well, maybe here. Maybe Georgetown he's using. Anyway, I don't know. You could have an AKE right here and just go, really, you could just hit that back and forth. Maybe even better, it would be Mergui. But also, but lest I forget, our tanks all arrived. We can do everybody combat, everybody deliberate, except for the armor will all be shock. The engineers will all be defend. Because I don't need these guys running out in the front, and I'll do the deliberate attack with these guys. And we will take this base. If he disappears, if he escapes, he escapes, and we'll take the base. If he doesn't, we'll hit whatever's left here, and we'll smash it pretty good with 125k, about 5 times his number, plus a lot of tanks. That's going to be crazy, like 3,000 vehicles, although not all of those are tanks. If you look at this says AFV's 251. This says AFV's 3002. So if we're looking at that number there, um, yeah, we've got 15 times, well, 10 to 15 times more tanks. And then I'm going to have all my medium bombers, not the heavies, but all the medium bombers targeting these ground troops so that we hopefully slow them down. If we smash what's left here, then he's going to be more likely to keep retreating because then this, whatever's here, is going to not be complemented with a pretty sizable. This is 150k troops. That's pretty strong. And by the way, I was wrong. I don't have 5 times. I don't have. What did I say? Anyway, I've got more like 1.5 times his number of troops. So that could still be dicey, but I'm going to go after it anyway. Um, I am considering what my options are, but it looks like he's withdrawing here. So he's going to pull from here to here at least. It looks like this guy is staying put, but the fact that he's retreating these guys, I can spread out a bit. So for example, I could just leave a token like battalion here just to keep an eye on him moving back into this hex. And then I can have like these Chinese troops moving further south. Um, I don't know. I've got options and I've got a lot to think about, but that's the situation. The invasion force is still fleeing. These guys fully unloaded, well, if they were the Pansy wasn't carrying anything, but they fully unloaded, but now they got to get back and I think we're safe enough to say let's return to Calcutta and repair there. And this is, yeah, these surface groups are going to Rangoon. And, um, and this, okay, that's something else. This is still got a bunch of troops on it. The question is, do I unload it here, let them chill for a bit, load them back up when we're ready, and go up again? I think maybe the answer is yes, for a couple reasons. One, you could see that I have a lot of ships with nothing on them. So if I spread them out even more than they've been spread out, then they'll unload even faster. So I'll probably do that, but that's something I'm going to think about some more. And if I do that, it probably would be ideal to do it at Chittagong. So let's go to Chittagong and we will allow an unload at Chittagong. Not here. And then moving east to China. Okay. I don't see anything standing out to me where he might be pushing somewhere. By the way, if you didn't notice last time, maybe you noticed this time, the Burma road is open, so we're getting free supply at Tuyun, a free 500, sorry, Tsuyung, and this is slow getting, it looks like it hasn't even left Tsuyung because we have 1256 here. So we need to get some rail to get it on the rail and get it down and get it around where it needs to go. We have supply issues and we need it to be pushed this way. We don't need it to go this way. Back up the road here. We need it to flow this way. And I still have a lot of air transports flying in, even all the way to Chengdu, getting supplies here. But for this stuff to trickle this way, all the way, let's say to Changsha and Xi'an, it's going to take a long time. But also, my plan is to have massive, and you can see here, massive size convoys bringing cargo all the way to Rangoon. And speaking of which, I'm going to do direct, which basically is identical. So anyway, we should be able to get supplies from Calcutta to Rangoon and possibly lose some ships to air attack or sub attack, but we're going to push the envelope anyway. We've got 17 ships here, and so if we lose a couple, it's fine. But you can see how much it's going to carry is 48,500. No, that's the wrong one. 62,400 supplies when it's full. So that's going to shoot this number up. We're still bringing stuff into Prom from Akyab, so that's going to be that's going to be helpful. But I really want to get all these numbers up, and also some supplies flowing up through and into China. But here again, do I build up these the industry or not? And then lastly, back to China, just pointing out nothing to talk about here, and we will just kind of end here. Just same old, very static, and I don't have any plans either. But one last thing, I guess I'll point out: our guns are almost there. I'm going to flip it to combat in the hopes that it will slide in combat mode and shoot back at whatever air decides to hit Sion next turn. All right. Well, thanks for joining me. This is a long one, but this was quite interesting, at least to me. Thanks. Bye.